Romantic comedies. Ah, the romantic comedy. The genre that can make us laugh, cry, and cringe all at the same time. Hollywood has been pumping out these films for decades, and it's no secret that they've had their fair share of ups and downs. The romantic comedy has evolved over time, from the screwball comedies of the 1930s to the more formulaic films of the 2000s. In the early days, the genre was known for its witty banter and unconventional romances, often featuring strong, independent women. In the 80s and 90s, the genre became more formulaic, with predictable storylines and happy endings. Despite the criticism that the genre often receives, there's no denying that people love romantic comedies. They offer a fun escape from reality, a chance to root for love and laugh at the mishaps along the way. Plus, who doesn't love a good meet, cute or grand romantic gesture? Of course, there are also plenty of people who can't stand romantic comedies. They find them too predictable, cheesy, and unrealistic. And to be fair, they're not entirely wrong. Many romantic comedies follow a predictable formula and rely on clichés. It's a genre that's both loved and loathed by audiences. Whether you're a hopeless romantic or a cynic who'd rather be watching a horror flick, you can't deny the appeal of a good rom-com. So let's dive into the evolution of this genre and why people just can't seem to get enough of it. Romantic comedies have been around since the dawn of cinema, but they really took off in the 1980s with classics like When Harry Met Sally and Pretty Woman. These films set the template for the genre: a meet, cute, a series of misunderstandings, a grand gesture of love, and a happily ever after. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which puts a dark spin on the genre. As the years went on, rom-coms became more formulaic, with studios churning out movies like 27 Dresses and The Ugly Truth that relied heavily on tired clichés and predictable plot lines. But every now and then, a gem would emerge from the sea of mediocrity, like Crazy Rich Asians, which was hailed as a groundbreaking film for its all-Asian cast and representation. Despite the criticism of the genre being formulaic and lacking substance, there is a reason why people keep coming back to romantic comedies. They're a great escape from reality, a chance to indulge in some cheesy romance, and a reminder that love is still possible. Plus, they're great for date nights. Who doesn't love a good excuse to snuggle up with their significant other? Of course, not everyone is a fan of romantic comedies. Some people find them overly saccharine, unrealistic, and even harmful for perpetuating unrealistic expectations about relationships. But hey, if you can suspend your disbelief for aliens, superheroes, and dragons, why not for love? So, whether you're a sucker for a good meet, cute, or a skeptic who rolls their eyes at the mere mention of a rom-com, you can't deny the impact this genre has had on pop culture. From The Notebook to Bridget Jones's Diary to 10 Things I Hate About You, these films have given us iconic moments, quotable lines, and unforgettable soundtracks. And let's not forget the endless debates over which movie is the best: When Harry Met Sally or The Princess Bride, Love Actually or Notting Hill? Romantic comedies may not be everyone's cup of tea, but they continue to be a staple in Hollywood and a guilty pleasure for many. Whether you're Team Meg Ryan or Team Julia Roberts, there's no denying the enduring appeal of the rom-com. Here's a guide to what many consider to be the greatest rom-coms of all time. When Harry Met Sally, 1989. Directed by Rob Reiner and starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan, When Harry Met Sally follows the decades-long friendship and eventual romance between Harry and Sally. The film is often cited as a quintessential romantic comedy, with its witty dialogue relatable characters and iconic scenes, such as the famous fake orgasm scene at Katz's Deli. The film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, and is listed on the American Film Institute's list of 100 Greatest Love Stories. Critical reception was overwhelmingly positive, with Roger Ebert praising the film's funny and touching screenplay, and viewers continue to love the film for its timeless humor and heartwarming story. 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999. Directed by Gil Junger and starring Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger, 10 Things I Hate About You is a modern adaptation of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. The film updates the classic story to a high school setting, with Stiles playing the headstrong and independent Cat Stratford and Ledger playing the charming and rebellious Patrick Verona. The film received praise for its sharp writing, strong performances, and modern take on a classic story. It is beloved by audiences for its humor, romance, and memorable soundtrack. The film's cultural impact can be seen in its influence on teen comedies that followed and its enduring popularity with a new generation of viewers. Sleepless in Seattle, 1993, directed by Nora Ephron and starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Sleepless in Seattle follows a widower who is urged by his son to call into a radio show in search of a new wife. The film is often cited for its charming performances by Hanks and Ryan, as well as its exploration of fate and the power of love. The film's use of classic romantic films as a plot device has been noted as an original aspect of the film. The film was a box office success and received positive reviews from critics, and it has since become a beloved classic with a devoted fan base. The Proposal, 2009, directed by Anne Fletcher and starring Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. The Proposal follows a Canadian executive who faces deportation and must convince her assistant to marry her to avoid it. The film plays with the typical power dynamics of a romantic comedy, with Bullock's character initially dominating the relationship before coming to appreciate Reynolds' character as an equal partner. The film made over $300 million at the box office and was praised for the chemistry between its leads. It is a classic example of the romantic comedy genre, with a focus on witty banter and unlikely romance. Crazy Rich Asians, 2018. Directed by John M. Chu and starring Constance Wu and Henry Golding, Crazy Rich Asians follows a New Yorker who travels to Singapore to meet her boyfriend's family and discovers he is from one of the wealthiest families in Asia. The film broke box office records and received critical acclaim for its representation of Asian culture and its diverse cast. The film's success highlighted the demand for more diverse storytelling in Hollywood, and its cultural impact has been felt beyond the romantic comedy genre. The film also features a strong and nuanced portrayal of familial relationships, adding depth to its romantic plot. Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Directed by Sharon Maguire and starring Renee Zellweger, Colin Firth, and Hugh Grant, Bridget Jones's Diary follows a single woman's journey as she keeps a diary detailing her search for love. The film is a modern retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, with Zellweger's character Bridget representing a relatable and flawed heroine. The film received critical praise for its humor, performances, and faithfulness to the original novel. The film's impact can be seen in its lasting popularity and the influence it has had on the romantic comedy genre. The film also features a strong and nuanced portrayal of female friendships. Notting Hill, 1999. Directed by Roger Michell and starring Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant, Notting Hill follows the unlikely romance between a Hollywood star and a London bookseller. The film is praised for its charming performances, witty script, and memorable soundtrack. The film received several award nominations, including a Golden Globe nomination for Roberts. Its cultural impact can be seen in its enduring popularity and the influence it has had on romantic comedies that followed. The Wedding Singer, 1998, directed by Frank Carassi and starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. The Wedding Singer is set in the 1980s and follows a wedding singer who falls in love with a waitress. The film is praised for its nostalgic humor, catchy soundtrack, and Sandler and Barrymore's chemistry. The film received several award nominations, including a Golden Globe nomination for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Its cultural impact can be seen in its influence on the romantic comedy genre and its continued popularity with audiences. Pretty Woman, 1990. Directed by Gary Marshall and starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, Pretty Woman follows the unlikely romance between a wealthy businessman and a prostitute. The film is praised for its fairy tale-like story, iconic fashion moments, and Roberts and Geri's chemistry. The film received several award nominations, including an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for Roberts. Its cultural impact can be seen in its influence on popular culture and the romantic comedy genre. The film received several award nominations, including an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for Roberts. Its cultural impact can be seen in its influence on popular culture and the romantic comedy genre. The Princess Bride, 1987, directed by Rob Reiner and starring Cary Elwes and Robin Wright. The Princess Bride is a fairy tale adventure that follows a young woman and her true love as they battle against evil to be together. The film's blend of action, romance, and humor has made it a beloved classic with a devoted fan base. The film's witty script, memorable characters, and charming performances have made it a cultural touchstone, and it has been praised for its originality and creativity. Although it received mixed reviews upon its initial release, the film has since become a critical and commercial success. Groundhog Day, 1993. Directed by Harold Ramis and starring Bill Murray and Andie MacDowell, Groundhog Day follows a weatherman who is stuck in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over again. The film uses the time loop concept to explore themes of self-improvement, redemption, and love. Murray's performance is praised for its balance of humor and emotion, and the film's script is often cited as a classic example of clever and original storytelling. The film was a box office success and received critical acclaim, and it has since become a beloved classic with a devoted fan base. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 2002, directed by Joel Zwick and starring Nia Vardalos. My Big Fat Greek Wedding follows a young Greek-American woman as she navigates her family's expectations and falls in love with a non-Greek man. The film was independently produced and became a surprise box office hit, grossing over $350 million worldwide. The film's success is often attributed to its relatable characters, humor, and warmth, as well as its celebration of Greek culture. The film's cultural impact can be seen in the success of its spin-off TV series and its influence on the portrayal of Greek Americans in media. Love Actually, 2003, directed by Richard Curtis and featuring an ensemble cast including Hugh Grant, Emma Thompson, and Keira Knightley, Love Actually follows the interconnected stories of several characters in the lead, up to Christmas. The film's use of multiple storylines and its focus on the different forms of love has been noted as strengths of the film. The film's exploration of love in all its forms, from romantic to familial to platonic, has resonated with audiences and has made it a holiday favorite. The film was a box office success and received mixed reviews from critics, but its cultural impact is undeniable. Say Anything, 1989, directed by Cameron Crowe and starring John Cusack and Ione Skye. Say Anything follows a high school student who falls in love with a valedictorian. The film is often noted for its authentic portrayal of young love and its use of iconic romantic gestures, such as Cusack holding a boombox over his head while playing a love song. The film's soundtrack, featuring songs by Peter Gabriel and The Replacements, is also a standout aspect of the film. The film received positive reviews from critics and has since become a cult classic. Silver Linings Playbook, 2012. Directed by David O. Russell and starring Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, Silver Linings Playbook follows a man with bipolar disorder who falls in love with a young widow. The film is often cited for its honest portrayal of mental illness and its use of humor to explore complex themes. Lawrence's performance as the young widow received critical acclaim, and the film was a box office success and received numerous accolades, including an Academy Award for Best Actress for Lawrence. Hitch, 2005, directed by Andy Tennant and starring Will Smith and Eva Mendes, Hitch follows a professional date doctor who falls in love with a gossip columnist. The film is often cited for its charming performances by Smith and Mendez, as well as its exploration of the challenges of dating and relationships. The film was a box office success and received mixed reviews from critics, but it has since become a beloved classic with a devoted fan base. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, 2018, directed by Susan Johnson and starring Lana Condor and Noah Centineo, To All the Boys I've Loved Before follows a teenage girl whose secret love letters to her crushes are accidentally sent out, causing her to confront her feelings. The film is often cited for its charming performances by Condor and Centineo, as well as its exploration of young love and self-discovery. The film was a critical and commercial success and has since spawned 2 sequels. The Princess Diaries 2001, directed by Gary Marshall and starring Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews, The Princess Diaries follows a teenage girl who discovers she is the heir to a European throne, leading to a transformation and romance with a fellow student. The film is often cited for its charming performances, heartwarming story and positive message about self-acceptance and female empowerment. The film was a box office success and received mixed reviews from critics, but it has since become a beloved classic for its portrayal of a modern princess. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, 1994. Directed by Mike Newell and starring Hugh Grant and Andie MacDowell, 4 Weddings and a Funeral follows a group of friends who navigate love and loss over the course of several weddings and a funeral. The film is often cited for its witty script, charming performances, and realistic portrayal of love in the 1990s. The film was a critical and commercial success, receiving multiple award nominations and becoming a cultural touchstone for romantic comedies. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 2003, directed by Donald Petrie and starring Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. In this hilarious rom-com, journalist Andy Anderson, Hudson, sets out to write an article about how to drive a man away in 10 days, while ad executive Ben Barry, McConaughey, bets that he can make any woman fall in love with him in the same amount of time. As they engage in a battle of wills, Andy and Ben find themselves falling for each other. Critics praised the film's witty script and Hudson and McConaughey's chemistry. Annie Hall, 1977, directed by Woody Allen and starring himself and Diane Keaton. This film tells the story of a neurotic New York comedian and his troubled relationship with the titular Annie. Praised for its innovative storytelling and blending of comedy and drama, the film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Overboard, 1987, directed by Gary Marshall, starring Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. In this unconventional rom-com, Hawn plays a wealthy woman who suffers from amnesia after falling off her yacht. Russell's character, a blue-collar carpenter, convinces her that she's his wife and puts her to work taking care of his kids and cleaning his house. Despite the problematic premise, the film is surprisingly heartwarming and features plenty of laughs. Overboard was a commercial success and has since become a cult classic. While You Were Sleeping, 1995, directed by John Turteltaub and starring Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. This film tells the story of a lonely woman who saves a man from being hit by a train, only to be mistaken for his fiancé by his family when he falls into a coma. As she gets to know his family, she begins to fall for his brother. This film was a box office success, grossing over $182 million worldwide, and is considered one of Bullock's breakout roles. You've Got Mail, 1998, directed by Nora Ephron. This film stars Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan as 2 rival bookstore owners who unknowingly fall in love through their anonymous online correspondence. The film was praised for its charming performances, witty script and nostalgic depiction of New York City. It was a commercial success, grossing over $250 million worldwide, and received several award nominations, including a Golden Globe nomination for Ryan's performance. 50 First Dates, 2004, directed by Peter Siegel, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. In this unique take on the romantic comedy, Sandler plays a man who falls for a woman with short-term memory loss, Barrymore, and must win her over every day. While some critics found the film too formulaic, many praised the chemistry between Sandler and Barrymore, as well as the film's heartfelt moments. 50 First Dates was a box office success and has since gained a cult following. Knocked Up, 2007, directed by Judd Apatow, starring Seth Rogen and Katherine Heigl. In this raunchy romantic comedy, Rogen plays a slacker who accidentally impregnates a successful career woman, Heigl, leading them both to reevaluate their priorities. While some critics found the film too crude, many praised the chemistry between Rogen and Heigl, as well as the film's humor and underlying heart. And who can forget the pussy shot at the end? Knocked Up was a box office success and has since become a cult classic.
Overall, these films are still beloved by audiences today and have left a lasting impact on the romantic comedy genre. Whether it's the witty banter, the sweeping romance, or the comedic hijinks, there's something for everyone in these classics.